Going on? I didn't realize this was going like this. And now I feel embarrassed. So, what is going on, guys? We're sitting here basically in the silence of the lamb. I do got to record this. And how you guys doing today? We're waiting for the rest of the boys to join us. If not, we're just going to run by the headlines real quickly for everybody. So, Washington Wizards have moved on from Wes Unseld. Wes Unseld is now going into an advisory role or to the front office. And I was a big Wes Unseld Jr. fan, son of the greatest Wizards player of all time. Big fan. He just didn't have you know, fair shake of things, in my opinion. And I think with the way that the franchise was going with a new regime, they just kind of wanted their guy, and they weren't going to stick around any longer with what they had. So makes sense. You see it all the time in sports, but obviously it's not the most ideal situation. So now oh, we accidentally locked the screen. So now we got Henry joining us, but we're going to continue to run through the headlines. Let me pin myself on the screen. And while Henry joins us, we can continue to run through the headlines. But Wes Unseld, basically, after several conversations, Michael Winger says they determined that a change was needed to benefit the team. Wes embodies everything that they value in the organization, yada yada. And he was named head coach July 17th when the Wizards had hired him while it was Tommy Shepard's regime. He went 77 and 130 in 2.5 seasons. People will forget that. I think definitely in the first season, I think we went 10 and 1. We were actually a surprisingly good team. And the thing is that for like the start, then everything collapsed, leading to Spencer Dinwiddie and Montrezl Harrell being traded. But just holistically as a squad, we started off the year solid, and multiple players had career years under Wes Unseld, like Kristaps Porzingis. Besides that, we're hearing the Bulls and Pistons have discussed Zach LaVine's trades. They're saying that the Pistons and Bulls have talked around it. The people that the Pistons win traded are Duran, Cunningham, Ivy, and Sar. Everybody else is there. And Chicago has been trying to get a deal of Boyan Bogdanovic packaged with Jaden Ivey. While the Pistons have held firm, there's a possibility they could re-engage if the price is going down. We're also hearing that the Pistons are not shopping Boyan Bogdanovic or Al Burks, that they are less willing to trade them, but more willing to trade them than they were a year ago. So take that for however you want. While David Yoger's set to join Doc Rivers' staff as an assistant coach, I believe David Yoger recently had brain surgery. While Bulls needed multiple first round picks to consider trading Alex Caruso, but they rather not trade him. They're saying Bucks are exploring trades for a package of Pat Connaughton and campaign, which is $12.5 million. Players such as PJ Tucker and Matisse Thybulle are options. I say go try to get PJ Tucker and Amir Coffee if possible. The Suns have told teams not to call for Grayson Allen, and the Grizzlies were granted a $12.5 million player exception for Ja Morant. And last night, we'll start with this: Phoenix Suns drop. Phoenix Suns beat the Mavs, and Devin Booker dropped 46 points in a stretch of games that, if you're a Suns fan, I think what is it now? They are currently on a 8-2 last 10 game streak. Like of their last game, they're on a 7 game win streak. The Suns are clicking. The Suns are looking good. Devin Booker's looking like his normal self for the most extended part of the season. And then also, they got KD back. What's your thoughts on this team, Henry? And Bradley Booker is also starting to figure it out. They're really starting to gel.
Who should be higher in my power rankings? The Suns or Knicks?
Suns.
Guess Knicks team would cause them problems though. But yeah, I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe again, playoff basketball. They don't have anyone who's done it on the Knicks. That's such a. Until you do it, I'm gonna believe you. You got on, even though the Suns team on paper, maybe some people won't take it. Booker's been to finals. KD's won a
Yep.
finals. You know what I mean? So like,
Jalen Brunson has shown it, but not to the extent Booker has.
yeah,
But
like I know Booker hasn't won a finals, but he's been there. He's ran through the playoffs. I know Brunson made it to the Western Conference Finals, but let's be honest, that was more Luka Doncic. But like, I mean, Jalen Brunson had a big part in that. But like, I think again, when it comes to playoff, there's a reason why people always say until you do it, you're just going to continue being counted out. But what do you think of the Suns' run? Are they looking legit? Are they a team to be? Do you think are threatening?
certainly, I mean, this is division. They're going to win a lot of regular season games because they're going to put the ball in the basket. So will the depth eventually? But will the depth eventually be an issue? Yeah, but man, if just one of Josh Okogie, Nasir Little, Chimezi Metu could step up and be like a semi-consistent role player, this team is so good, and they're good already.
They only need them to be good for 10 games, 10 to 12 games. It's really that's the thing. Like you don't necessarily need them to be great. Like you got the guys to make you good in the regular season. It's more so, hey, can one of you just like be good enough for the playoffs and hopefully you can squeeze those minutes out of one guy. What would you say right now is you're the most surprising part of this team? And if you had to say,
I mean,
unless
I think that Point Book has been a resounding success.
he has been a very good success and he's been fun because he really has been their pure point guard, and they're really kind of not phasing Bradley Beal out, but they're just telling Bradley to play more off ball, and they're just kind of giving Book more and more responsibility. You know what's one thing that is very surprising to me during this run
Mm.
is that our boy, first off, I'm literally blanking on his name. Goodwin has fallen out of the rotation in the span, and Goodwin has just not been good for them. Jordan.
Yeah,
No, he's been hurt. He's been dealing with a jaw injury, right?
he certainly hasn't been good. Let me see what his timeline slash designation is. It's been an ankle, and he's healthy.
He's healthy now, yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
he just hasn't been good for them after having a really stellar year last year, playing similar minutes. Another guy that, like, I don't, is he hurt, but he's not really getting much run. Damian Lee.
Yeah, he's has yet to return from a meniscus surgery.
Okay, so he's hurt, but he hasn't even played for them, but he seemed like a guy that could have given him some firepower off the bench. So I think
Absolutely,
that,
a guy who has clipped it in the past.
yeah, I wonder. But yeah,
It's a really lengthy meniscus recovery. As of 2 weeks ago, he was a ways away from returning, and he's missed the whole year.
really.
Yeah. So it's potentially concerning from his personal standpoint.
So thinking real quickly, who are some head coaches you would want the Wizards to target as a rebuilding squad? I personally think you need to go for one of the younger coaches in the NBA. I think this is a time where you go get the associate head coach of the Sacramento Kings. What is it? Javier Hernandez, right?
Would you target somebody defensively oriented, or is it too early in the process for that?
I'd get a. I mean, depends. Jordy Fernandez. My apology. Jordy Fernandez is so. I mean, I'd get any coach that fits my vision, but I've always liked Jordy Fernandez because he has an academic background that's different than most coaches. He has a college degree in sports sciences, and he is one academic paper away from having a PhD in sports psychology with a extensive study and research in the observation of human behavior. He co-authored a paper in 2009 called "Identifying and Analyzing the Construction and Effectiveness of Offensive Plays in Basketball by Using Systematic Observation." The guy's a
Well,
fucking nerd.
will you say that again?
He wrote a paper while he was a doctoral student called
I do.
"Identifying and
Yeah.
Analyzing the Construction and Effectiveness of Offensive Plays in Basketball by Using Systematic Observation." He went 62 and 38 in 2 years as the Canton Charge head coach, and he lost both years in the semifinal.
He potentially has my vote. I'm gonna check out his paper.
Yeah.
I'm reading
Nick,
his I'm reading his abstract.
he was the coach for Team Canada this past World Cup.
Ah, I knew I recognized this name.
Nick Nurse gave him the job. Nick Nurse said once stepped down. He said, "This is Hernandez." I'm pretty sure he was, or maybe I was wrong about that part, but I'm pretty sure they were. But Mike Brown's is like fucking mentor. Monte Morris loves it. A lot of people have a lot of good things to say. He's from Barcelona, or he went from Badalona, but like he went to college in Barcelona. That's my guy.
I like it.
All right,
I have no other candidates to put forth.
there you go. So we'll continue to go here. Let's go into some trade news. And what we're specifically hearing is trade talks with Mr. DeJounte Murray around D'Angelo Russell and Jalen Chifino. We've heard that deal be pushed around a lot. And, you know, I think from their understanding is DeJounte Murray is their high priority, and the most likely trade outcome right now is the handicap in the odds is that they're the favorite to land him. Jovan Bujas holds Michael Scotto, while Washington and the Nets are seemingly like the third teams if there's a deal out there. What are your thoughts on a potential, you know, Hawks, Lakers, three-team deal for D'Lo? What's it going to be? I do think all the Hawks will get from the Lakers is a pick, and then the Lakers will shoot D'Lo and Jalen Chifino to a team that wants them. Thoughts? If you want to speak, so we don't have dead air. Hello, can you hear me? We
I
can't really
can,
have.
although you were very laggy throughout your speech, but um I don't see why Brooklyn wouldn't want to house D'Lo. I think that Washington has the space to house D'Lo, if if I'm looking at this math correctly. Um,
The whole thing would just be sending assets. It would be like probably like Tyus Jones and like Johnny Davis to the fucking Hawks. You know what I mean? For D'Lo or
why?
like because it's a expiring salary.
Well, D'Lo is not an expiring salary.
All right, so the if it was the Wizards, D'Lo, Jalen Hood-Schifino to the Wizards, Hawks get the 29 first round pick from Lakers. Wizards send Tyus Jones and maybe a salary they want to get rid of or another player they want to get rid of to the Hawks with their least favorable one of their least favorable first round picks, and they get D'Lo and
Well, no,
huh
Why are the Wizards parting with anything?
because they're getting a young player and a pick.
Who is the young player? Oh, no, they're not going to part with Tyus though. That's a
Uh,
huge solo. That's a huge solo on Tyus to just include him in this deal. It doesn't make any sense.
well, because the whole thing is people are lowballing them for Tyus because most people are just offering them second round picks supposedly because they're just like, well, if we don't get him now, we'll just get him in free agency.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I would foresee them just taking on D'Lo and they get a young player for doing so.
yeah, but I'm saying they have like super shitty first round picks from the deals that they could just send a protected first round pick or a pick, even just a pick swap if they wanted, or second round picks to the Hawks as the sweetener. Basically, they're just sending somebody. Maybe there is no picks, but basically the Hawks don't want
So
D'Lo. So
so you're saying the Lakers have to rope in a third team to send more to the Hawks,
yeah,
effectively.
that's what every Lakers beat writer is saying. Yeah.
The Lakers picking young players to Atlanta isn't enough because Atlanta doesn't want the Lakers' young players.
No, Lakers don't want D'Lo's contract, and they're not interested in Jalen Hood-Schifino because Jalen Hood they could have drafted him.
Right,
This
that's what I just said, that Atlanta doesn't want the Lakers' young players.
yeah, but like the it's only one young player. Lakers
Right,
already
they would want Christie or I guess maybe Max Lewis.
no, they don't want either of those, and Lakers aren't trading those players. That's they're
Uh,
saying Lakers like Christie and Max Lewis more than Jalen Hood-Schifino. So
I mean,
Lakers,
I think the Lakers just gonna have to then yeah, maybe a good Washington. or Brooklyn to throw Atlanta a second, and they just part with Hood-Schifino outright.
Yeah, it's seemingly, and we're also hearing Rui Hachimura. Okay, so basically, there's two deals on the table. The Lakers really would like to package, seems like D'Lo, Rui, and I think probably like Jalen Hood-Schifino, Gabe Vincent, some short for DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, while they also would like so they feel like if the first deal is DeJounte Murray, but they won't go over their asking price for DeJounte Murray. So their backup deal is to turn to Chicago, is basically the Lakers are what they're saying they're going to do.
Which is even a more expensive price, though, potentially.
Now,
I
the
guess
belief
I
is
guess
that
depends on how the Bulls value the
whole
Lakers
belief
pick.
that if they pivot to Chicago, it's because Chicago is becoming desperate. That's the whole reason. So Chicago's plan B, if DeJounte becomes a bidding war and the deal falls through and they don't want to get, overpay for him, they are willing to pivot into a situation for a package of DeMar DeRozan with Caruso or other players, or just DeMar DeRozan. And yeah, that's what I think is the most interesting part with that.
True, that is interesting. Wow, this Kobe White contract is an absolute steal.
Yeah, so I really think that
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go
D'Lo,
for it.
Jalen Hood-Schifino for Spencer Dinwiddie, and the Clippers pick, or whatever pick it is going to probably be to the Hawks, with the Lakers 29 pick is the most likely deal by mind.
I agree. I don't really have many doubts that they'll be able to figure out the minutia of that. If
Yeah,
that is the direction I opt to go in.
yeah, that's it. It's going to be a lot of work. But yeah, I think the deadline is just going to be centered around the Lakers and the Hawks. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But
What the Bulls decide to do is a swing factor. If they are desperate, if they will part with guys at what prices and who.
yeah, no, completely.
And
And that,
given their lack of selling in the past, it's kind of hard to tell where this front office head is at.
yeah, I think, um, yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's definitely interesting to see how it all plays out, because looking at this, I was just reading something real quick to see if there's any information, but there isn't. But yeah, no. It basically, yeah, Chicago's deal is basically, the Chicago deal is dead. They aren't talking to Chicago. They're more likely to get Tyus Jones than do a Chicago deal. So it's seemingly like DeJounte Murray, then Tyus Jones, then Chicago. And then their final options, if they can't get any of those guys, it's Bruce Brown, Dorian Finney-Smith, Malcolm Brogdon, Dennis Schroeder. Like, there is a dark horse. The dream is they want to get two players like a Dennis Schroeder, Bruce Brown package for like probably Jalen Hood-Schifino, Rui Hachimura, and D'Angelo.
Yeah, the Dorian Finney-Smith stuff is getting interesting. This is a guy who shot 20% from deep over the past month. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I was about to say. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is too volatile now. So Johan Bua said that Darvin Ham's safe for the rest of the season unless they like lose 6 or 7 games in a row and start to spiral. I don't think they can get fire. If they lose 4 games in a row for the second time in a few weeks, there could be some disconnect. But at this point, he's safe, but his seat could get warm, and depending on how the playoffs go, could get moved on from. So
yeah, certainly depending on how the playoffs go, he could get moved on from.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's definitely interesting to see how this is gonna play. So, oh, all right. What's the last thing we want to touch on before we get out of here? I gotta get out of here. Let's see what else we got on the itinerary. What else did we talk about? So currently with this, we talked Devin Booker, we talked trade news. Wes Unseld. Oh, what's your thoughts on Wes Unseld being fired? That's, I guess, the last thing. I talked mine, but let's just hear your 2 cents and we'll get out of here after a game of Hurdle.
Yeah, I know that you feel he didn't get a fair shake of things entirely, and that the developmental track record in Washington has been decent, but I ultimately think a new voice to galvanize is probably wise if they can find the right guy.
No, I agree. I agree. I don't think he ever got a fair shake. First year, they had that whole Spencer Dinwiddie debacle and Montrezl Harrell, where like the locker room was like about to kill each other. And then the following year, we clearly, I don't even. It was a weird year just going into that season. Like we didn't really make any upgrades. We just ran back the same, basically the same roster. And then he was just given like draft selections weren't good.
Jordan Poole,
That's a really good guess.
guard in the West who's short, short under 6'4".
Hmm. Wait, under 6'4". So he's in the Northwest. He's 6'3". This means he Portland.
Ooh, it could be Brogdon. Could be Simons also though.
So we got
Dang, it's
three:
not Portland.
Thunder, Nuggets. One more team. Who's in the Northwest? Thunder, Nuggets.
The Mavs in the Northwest.
No, Thunder, Nuggets, Jazz.
It's not Jamal Murray, is it? It's too small of a head. Not Denver either.
All right, this is a Thunder player. That's insane. That's insane.
Dang. Who is
That's
white?
ins-
Who is white and short in the Thunder backcourt? I guess it doesn't have to be white, but whose hair looks like that?
it's not white, but like it's not white people's hair. Trey Mann.
Jeez. I guess. I don't know. I don't, yeah. You gotta think, yeah. Yeah.
You're welcome for saving this. Never lost a Purtle. Have you done that in 2 years?
Fucking, hey, you get 8 guesses. Better not.
I know. I know. All right. I gotta go.